Welcome to Imaginary Ramblings. I'm Matt.
And I'm Ben.
And this is episode 105, An Angel is Love. And
So good.
Yeah.
Such a good title.
Oh, yeah. Unlike the movie we watched, which is the cult classic Barbarella from 1968.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
it's 3 fucking years.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
I can. We started this podcast on November 25th in 2017. And hopefully this episode is coming out on November 5th, or November 25th, 2020.
Yeah.
We'll see if I get it out on time. Who knows?
We'll try.
Yeah, I'll try. I think I have all day Wednesday off, so depending on how much I have to do to get ready for the big day the next day, I might get this out and have 0 downloads.
Oh, yeah.
Because the next day is Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, that's right, it is, isn't it?
Yes, sir. But it'll be okay. We'll figure something out. And in other news, as part of this 3-year anniversary, we've been working on a project that we've talked about a little bit. And
yes, we have.
And so it's here's the drum roll. That was just me licking my tongue in a really weird way that probably sounded gross, but
no, it was fine. It was great.
Oh, good. Didn't sound like I was motorboating myself.
Yeah. It sounded like you were having a really good time with whatever you were doing.
And the surprise is an actual play podcast.
What?
Doesn't everybody do an actual play podcast? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but this one's different.
Pretty much everybody. But this one's going to be a little... It is going to be different because first thing is I'm lazy, so I took a couple mechanics from some games I like, and then I simplified the fuck out of them, and I made a very very, very simple system. And then every episode should only be between 20 and 30 minutes. Some might go a little over the 30-minute mark.
Yeah. I think we've been pretty good about sticking to that.
Yeah, it's just when I add in the previously on and the coming next on and the jingles and jangles and stuff.
Oh, sure.
That'll change the overall length. So we'll see what it ends up being per episode. So we've got 5 episodes coming out in 2020. Episode 0/1, whatever you want to call it, will be an episode we recorded. Was it back in June? Maybe? I don't even remember.
Jeez, was it that far?
It was a long ass time ago. Let's see. Actual play. Yeah, it was June. We recorded it back in June with Uncle J Raz, where we designed the setting.
Right, yeah.
Yes. And then, basically, I wasn't really 100% planning to do anything with it, and then I was like, hey, you know what? Let's make an actual play podcast. So, we made an actual play, and we've got half of it already recorded. I just need to edit it down. And the first half will all come out this year, and then the second half will be recorded probably starting in January, mid-January probably, and that part will hopefully, maybe knock on wood, be coming out in February or March, and it does end on a cliffhanger.
Bum, bum, bum.
And I can't remember if I mentioned the name, but I will now, just in case I didn't. It's called You, Me, and Mothership Z. And you'll get to hear all about it in the Setting the Tables episode we recorded with Uncle J Raz. Well, not fully about it, because like I said, I didn't have the story and stuff in mind, but I pretty much took everything we designed when designing the setting and turned it into what the actual play became. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Honestly, I really enjoy the way it's developed.
I know I didn't well, let's not get. We might do a making of later, so let's not get too in the weeds. But yeah, it's been really fun, and there's been the way we did it is really weird. I don't want to spoil that, because I think that's going to be like one of the fun things to find out. And yeah, it was fun, and the stuff that happened in it, in some ways was almost as unexpected for me as it was for you guys probably. Because I had some things planned out, and then other things ended up happening because of your die rolls, and it made for a very interesting and fun game. But
yes, I've really been enjoying it.
Yes, me too, and I can't wait to get back to it. It's just two things are keeping us from recording all the episodes now: the holidays. And
yes.
And Ben is getting out of school, and so I really want to do some actual like full-fledged campaign-ish stuff, as in like 3-hour session, 2-3 hour sessions instead of 30-minute sessions. And so
yes.
And so with Ben being out of school for the next couple months, we're going to be doing some actual role playing, and I am not turning that into an actual play, because I tried to edit a 3-hour podcast actual play,
God, I bet that was
difficult. it was overwhelming to say the least. I also had a bunch of technical issues which demoralized me, but because while we were recording, we were doing it on Discord, and I literally kept all 4 of them could hear each other no problem, but I would keep cutting out, and I couldn't hear them, and they couldn't hear me. Yeah, which doesn't work very well with the Game Master.
Right.
And that happened.
It does not.
Yeah, that happened a bunch of times, and so it was just going to be a miserable slog to edit. And I just got too demoralized by it, like how bad it was, and then I wanted to do like special effects and stuff, and I was like, geez, it took me almost an hour to do like the first 20 minutes, and I was like, wait. And that's where I got the idea to do really short actual plays. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
It might still be too much work, and I might be like, okay, this is the only one we're ever doing. There's a couple special effects I wanted to do that I don't think I'll be able to. So like, big surprise here. It's a sci-fi setting, kind of.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's got mothership in the title. And there's an alien, and I wanted to change the alien's voice using like just a voice synthesizer thing, but we weren't able to always record the alien's voice on a separate track, and so that would mean I would have to pick the alien's voice out of your track of audio, and
oh boy,
and I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think we'll just work with it. We'll work with what we've got.
You know what? Never mind.
Yeah. But that's what I've been into. What have you been into, Benjamin?
Well, this week was finals week, so you can, or I guess I should say is finals week, because we're just getting into it.
Yeah.
So really it's been mostly studying and taking the finals, which is honestly not the most ideal way to spend your time.
I mean, it is when it equals better job down the road, right?
Well, yes.
Look on the positive side.
Yes. So really haven't had much time to do much gaming other than like an occasional game of Smite here and there. And I actually turned something on that I haven't played in a while. I turned on Animal Crossing, and I haven't touched that in a while.
Aww.
I didn't really do too much. I kind of just like looked around the island to look at like the fall decoration stuff that's on there now.
Yeah. Locke was actually literally just playing that today.
Oh really?
Yeah, he caught a leaf, and we're like, "Oh, bud, you caught a leaf!" And then his inventory was, of course, full like it always is, and so he threw it to the ground.
Full of leaves.
So he threw it to the ground.
Yeah, I actually don't even know what the leaves are for.
I'm sure it's the same thing as they had with cherry blossoms, where it's just going to be a bunch of unique fall decorations.
That's kind of what I figured too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that was interesting to see. Nevertheless, though, and of course, then he was showing off all the fish and stuff he's caught when he was playing the past couple months on and off, and that he didn't donate to the museum. He's like, I kept this one for myself. I kept this one. And I'm like, you're such a good boy.
No, it's really funny that he doesn't quite get the concept of the museum, or he does and he doesn't give a shit about it.
Well, here's the thing.
Like, both ways are pretty funny, honestly.
The museum is everybody's. So he gets the concept of the museum, and that's what he hates about it. He wants it all his own. It's mine. My precious.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah. Here's an interesting bit of trivia. Do you remember the title of our episode 0?
Oh, Jesus. I have no idea.
It was a little perverted. Does that help you?
No.
We'll show you ours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I've since retitled it a little bit because I got really ambitious and I said I'm going to renumber all the episodes. And I made it I made it through season 1, and I got those all renumbered correctly. And then I was like, and just the way what's it called, Podbean? The way Podbean lets you edit the episodes was kind of difficult. Yeah, because it was just you would have to completely refresh the screen basically to make sure that it went through, and then once you did that, it would reset where you were, and so then you'd have to find where you were again. And there was freaking 50 or 60 episodes just in season 2.
Oh, Jesus.
Maybe more than that. I don't remember for sure. And so I was just like, you know what? Maybe I won't renumber season 2 quite yet. And I just never got around to it.
Oh, yeah.
So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or some. I think it goes up to 8. And then we took that 3 months off, and then we came back strong. And we haven't taken more than a month off since then. But But yeah, we had this 3 months off, and then we started season 2, and that went on for a year and a half. And then
oh god, yeah.
And then we just kind of dropped the whole season thing, and just started numbering them according to to the actual episode release, what it counted as. And so so some of our episodes, so here's a little bit of interesting trivia, I guess. I don't know if it's trivia or not, but some of our episodes aren't actually episodes. Because I did this developer diary thing that I think I did for one. I think I made one episode of it, maybe 2. I don't remember how many I made. And so that's not really an Imaginary Ramblings episode, but it counts as far as Podbean's concerned. And I'm like, you know what? I have all these podcasts that I listen to that nickel and dime that stuff. They're we only count certain ones, and so they'll be on episode 160, but according to their episode count, they're only on episode 20 or something. It's
oh, right.
It's yeah. And so I was I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna say every episode counts. So yeah, we got the developer diary in there, so that one didn't really count. And then here's something I want to start again, and I want to do it with you this time, and that is I think I want to start doing the just to break up the monotony kind of. I want to do bring back the my Apocalypse monthly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I think I want to start that in the second week of January, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to work our way through, and we'll see how feasible it is, because I have almost all of them but I don't know how you'll be able to get access to all of them. And I want to watch all of the Romero movies over the course of most of 2021 because there's shoot. Now, not all of Romero movies. I should say all of the Dead movies or of the Living Dead movies.
Yeah.
So I think there are. Shoot, now I'm gonna lose my Romero cred, but let's see. There's the main three, which these are the big ones, which are Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead. Those are the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got his what was kind of supposed to be a blockbuster, which was Land of the Dead. Then you've got Diary of the Dead next, which I don't have. We'll have to find access to that. Then you have Island of the Dead, I think. And then the last one was Survival of the Dead, I think. So there's 7 of them. At least. Okay. There might be one I forgot in there. But yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm if I haven't mentioned it a dozen times or not, the original Dawn of the Dead, it's literally my favorite movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good one.
I also love Night of the Living Dead as well. It's a great flick. It breaks a bunch of tropes, especially for that time period. And you can see how tropes of movies after that copy it, and it's just a beautiful thing to see, especially for a movie that was filmed in Pittsburgh. Both of them were.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think actually the first 3 were all filmed in Pittsburgh. So.
Oh wow,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that all of them were.
Yeah, just the first 3, I think, and then Land of the Dead was filmed in Canada. But yeah, I can't remember where Day of the Dead was filmed. I'll have to look that up. But I'm pretty sure it's in the greater Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area. But yeah, let's get into Barbarella. The good, the bad, and
the campy.
Barbarella.
Yes. Okay. So, I kind of let it slip a little bit there when I kind of defamed it a minute before I called it a cult classic. Or after I called it a cult classic. I can't remember which order I defamed it a little bit. But, yeah, the best part of the whole fucking movie to me is when, what was it? The catcher, I think is his name.
Yeah.
The catcher yells at her as she's tunneling underground, Barbarella!
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
That's literally, I think, the best part of the whole fucking movie.
I don't know, when he's just straight up Barbarella's what can I do for you? And he's like, we could fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
basically, and she's like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, So, I guess content warning or something. This is part of
oh yeah,
is this considered Grindhouse or what is this considered?
Man, I mean,
it's not Grindhouse because it's Grindhouse is gore, no. I think.
Yeah, I mean, but it's one of I guess the best way to classify it is 1970s sci-fi movies.
Yeah,
a lot of them are that graphic nudity. Some of these scenes are so gratuitous though. It was hard not to laugh at them, wasn't it?
What? I honestly think that's how it keeps the rating it has is because the nudity is more comedic than sexual.
Yeah.
It's wild how they could take especially a woman like Jane Fonda who's classically a beautiful woman, and then you can see her completely naked, and instead of it being ooh, hello, it's what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's just
really funny.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's get into. I'd almost call it femsploitation.
Yeah, I guess it's close at
Yeah, I
least.
don't know what the actual term for this is, but it's basically where they take and just spend an entire film objectifying a single woman by making her like the main character that is also like every man's sex toy throughout the whole film. Um,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, we've got the movie starts out with a terrible song made in the honor of Barbarella.
Yeah, it was weird. And not just that, but it's also just like a sexy strip too.
Yeah, that's yeah, and 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 so the movie says it's 13 plus on Amazon streaming service, which I thought was wild considering the fact that it's like got the beginning part of the movie has like straight on full breast like close ups and like most of her
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah. Can I say one of my favorite scenes is kind of the way, just because of how gratuitous and how funny it was to me.
Yeah.
So Barbarella's about to go into like hyper sleep or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So of course she's gonna go to sleep, and she first off is wearing this like it's like that kind of soft plastic that is definitely just like showing off her breasts.
Yes.
Um, and then she's laying down on her bed, which for whatever reason is this like clear plastic. I don't even know what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then the camera, of course, is right there, right at the tit level. Like, oh, I just thought it was so funny. Like, just like they're not even trying to hide it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was
I
just
found it just
gratuitous.
really funny.
The amount that they were like objectifying Jane Fonda in this film,
Yes.
and yeah, and so
You know, though, I will say, and this might be going a little bit further ahead in the story, but like I don't know, I felt like in a sense though they did a pretty good job of like making Barbarella like a strong female lead. Like, don't get me wrong, there was plenty of misogynistic stuff, but I feel like the only like people who like demonized her for being as sexually active as she was like the bad guy. Like everybody else was just like fine with it, and she just kept like, and you know like so she had sex with the catcher, and they at first you think like they're gonna go like, oh, now she's just gonna be in love with him like your typical heroine or whatever lady, but like she seemed like she had a good time, but she had like no problem getting on her spaceship and leaving, and he was like, you can stop back on the way. She's like, yeah, I might, and then she just got her thing and left. Like, so, like, I felt like in a way they did do a good job, in a very misogynistic way. They did do a pretty decent job about like she was this like strong female character lead who like didn't feel bad about what she was doing.
I can see that in some aspects. It definitely, it handled sexuality kind of well, except then also it sort of like at the same time that it's like embracing sexuality, it's also like the place where people have sex is the place where evil exists. Like that's the only
right.
place in the universe where people still have sex is where evil exists. So,
or at least it's like in primitive, like
yeah,
which I thought was funny too. That it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. So, basically, Barbarella is told by the president of Earth that she has to go to this planet. I don't remember what it was called. It was some stupid name. Sogo.
Yeah,
that
I
was
don't either.
or the city was Sogo. It was in the Sogo system or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're told that they have to go there and find Durand.
Duran, yeah. The people had the best names in this movie.
And if she finds Durand, she'll save the universe because he has a positron laser.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, he developed a weapon, and this is an era where weapons are like not unheard of, but like things of the past. Only primitives would use them.
Yeah, most of like I said, like the only place where sex still exists is on this primitive evil planet, because the rest of the universe is good and it's stopped having sex. Well, she did at one point say only the poor still have sex, which was which was kind of like throwing their utopian society under the bus a little bit.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Barbarella goes to this planet, and she crashes, of course, because magnets.
Yeah, right. That's basically what it was too. Something was wrong with her with the magnetic field of the planet.
Okay, so this is the thing that really, I don't know what the word to describe it is. It annoyed me, I guess. Why the fuck, whenever they're traveling in space, is it like close-ups of lava lamps?
Because it was the 70s.
Yeah, but it was so fucking annoying. It was like,
I know.
When she was burrowing underground, it was close-ups of lava lamps. When she's looking at the Mathmas, it was a close-up of a lava lamp.
The Magmar or whatever.
Yeah, the Mathmas. It was lava lamp. When she was in the Tyrant's dream chamber, it was lava lamp. When she's when they're doing a screen wipe, it's a lava lamp. I mean, not really. They didn't do screen wipes that I remember, but yeah, it was just so much fucking lava lamp, man. And so
all of that custom music though was so good, wasn't it?
I wish that was how the song went. It was more like, I don't remember how it went. It was awful. I don't
know. There was a few of them too, if we're being honest.
Now I don't know if this trivia is true, but it's by my count. It's by my count. Do you know how many outfits Barbarella changed into in the filming of this film?
Oh my god, I don't.
It looked,
I know it was a few.
By my count, it was 7 different outfits she wore.
Oh my god.
And at least, I want to say 3 of them showed her tit. At least a tit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like...
Well, can I also say, I mean, that spaceship she was in when she's doing her sexy strip, it's funny because she starts taking off her arm piece and then her leg piece, or whatever order it was.
Yeah.
It's just like, that can't be an airtight suit.
No. And then her first wardrobe change is her literally just stripping in front of us while they sing the Barbarella theme song. And she's on like a piece of glass to try to look like she's floating in space. And
yeah. Oh yeah, that's definitely one thing about this movie. You know, like you're gonna see the wires.
Yeah, you're gonna see every shitty special effect in this. And then, but the funny part of that, but did you notice that there's like a between her breasts piece?
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so like when she's taking off her costume, there's like the chest part, and you would think it would be like 1 or 2 pieces. It's got like a middle piece that she had to like remove, and then it just shows like between her cleavage.
Oh wow, no, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I was just like, all right. I'm not sure that's like a functional piece of garment. I don't know how that works. But anyway, It worked for Barbarella.
Probably not well.
Worked for Barbarella. If it worked for Barbarella,
sure, I guess it
worked. So yeah, she crash lands. She immediately gets captured by a bunch of creepy twins.
Oh yeah, they're like children.
Yeah, it's just like rabid children, because this place is so evil. Children have to raise themselves to be evil, out in the wilds, and so these children capture her. And then they power up a bunch of dolls with metal teeth or painted on teeth, and all.
Well, yeah, some of them were painted on right there.
And they all just start chomping at Barbarella, and so it does a bunch of cuts where it shows a close up of the doll, and then it shows Barbarella having like a little bit of red paint on her, and then it shows a close up of another doll, and then Barbarella has a little bit more red paint on her.
Yeah. This is all very accurate.
Yeah, and so that's like, okay, so we're looking at some really... So, like, the crazy thing about this is their set pieces were actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna...
Yeah, no, they definitely were, yeah.
Like, I don't know how big the soundstage for some of these sets was, but it had to be huge, because they're like on this ice lake, and you can even see pretty much where the walls are, but it's huge. Unless they're just really good at optical effects, and where I thought was the wall was actually not where the wall was. I don't know. But, they looked pretty big. And they had, like, life-size props of the ships, of, like, 2 different crash ships. And then this ice ship that the kidnapper drove.
Yeah.
And so this is when the kidnapper saves her, and Barbarella's like, how can I ever repay you? My government will send you money. This is so this is like at least twice this happens. I think, no, maybe it's 3 times. No, I think Pygar she actually seduces. She's like, oh yeah, so it happens twice. So there's the revolutionary, and then there's the kidnapper.
Yeah.
And both of them, she's like, oh, you saved my life. My government will give you a bunch of money. And they're like, we don't want your money. And so...
we want to fuck.
Yeah, well, no, so the kidnapper's like, I want to fuck. And she's like, oh, that's what the poor people do. I've got these pills, and we can do that. And he's like, I know nothing of this. He was a fun guy. I think so this is like the thing. The movie only went downhill for me from the moment that he yelled out, Barbarella!
Oh, yeah.
And then the rest of the movie was pretty much downhill for me. But that's probably why I'm going into such detail at the beginning, because all of that was really fun. So that they bang, and she is just like, la 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 la, singing to herself after they banged. And he's just like, I'm a man. I don't care that we had sex. And...
she's like, yeah, I hit it. Of course I did.
And then he fixes her ship, but he fixes it wrong, and she ends up tunneling it underground. And that's when he yells, Barbarella! Into the hole. And and that guy was just like awesome. I loved his voice, like the way he talked, and the way he said things. I know nothing of this. And then when he like yells Barbarella, the way he yells it is just amazing. Then the other time that her life gets saved is by the revolutionary, and she says, my government will pay you, and he's like, I don't want that. And she's like, oh, I know what you want. She goes and gets in the bed and starts stripping, and he's like, no, I'm not a savage. And he's like, I've got pills. And she's like, huh? So then they do the pill thing, and it's really fucking weird.
Yeah, they basically put their hands out and touch each other's hands.
Yeah, but no, like, what was fucking weird about it was, like, and I felt bad for the revolutionary, because, like, they were kind of picking on him. The whole, like, his whole thing was just, like, he was just being picked on the whole time. And so, like, Barbarella, like, takes a break in the middle. And
she does.
He's still there, like, smoking or whatever. And
he's still there having a great time.
And she just, like, kind of, like, just takes a break and rolls her eyes, and then she, like, puts her hand back in, and the hands are smoking, and she's just kind of like, okay, finish whenever.
She's like, ooh, she's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, she's like, finish whenever. And I was like, aw, poor guy. So she did not sing after doing it with him, even though it did mess her hair up, so I guess it must have done something, I don't know.
Yeah, it must have been okay, right?
Yeah, must have been, I don't know. I mean, you know, she figured out the pill was worthless, basically, at that point, because she'd already done it with 2 different people.
Or at least not as fun.
Yeah, or at least not as fun, yeah. So...
one thing we have to mention, too. When she first sees Pygar, does she not say, "Are you an angel?" And then he says, "No, I'm or omnithopter person," or basically, like, doesn't he say some shit like that?
Well, the first thing she says is, "Am I dead?" And he's like, "No." And then I think she's like, "Well, aren't you an angel?" And then he's like, "No, yeah." He's like, whatever, an ornithorian or something like that. I'm the last of the ornithorians.
I'm the last of my kind.
Yeah.
And then the whole rest of the movie, he does some goofy ass shit, and he's like, "Oh, that's just what angels do."
Yeah. The whole rest of the movie, he is only referred to as either Pygar or as an angel.
It's like, wait, he just told us that he wasn't an angel.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, after she tunnels through the ground, she's immediately found by the blind angel Pygar, who is...
He can't fly because he's lost his confidence.
Yeah, he can't fly, and also he's jacked. Well, not jacked, I guess. Yeah. He's just ripped. And he's shirtless, and he's just got, like, a feather diaper on.
Yeah, basically.
And he's got big old angel wings, and so anyway, Pygar takes her to Professor Ping. Professor Ping says he can fix her ship, and then she's like, "But how am I going to get to the castle, or the tyrant's city?" And she's like, "Pygar, can you fly me?" And Pygar's like, "I can't fly." And then Professor Ping's like, "He can fly, he just doesn't have the confidence." And then...
He can fly, he's just being a big old pussy.
And then Jane Fonda kind of looks at the camera and goes, "Wink." She doesn't really do that, right. But that's basically what happens. And then...
basically.
And then the next shot is Pygar's... is Jane Fonda's laying in Pygar's nest, basically. And she's like going, la-di-da-di-da, like she sang last time she got boned. And,
yeah.
And, then you see Pygar flying. And so, so Pygar's a bit of a dick.
About that? Well, also, like, Barbarella doesn't tell him where the fuck to go.
Yeah, not very well, no.
He's just, the dude's just flying.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, that's dangerous. He's blind. That fucker can't see.
Yep. But this is the part that kind of pissed me off. Is the Great Tyrant is asking Pygar to bone, and that's when Pygar says, she's like, "Make love to me like you did Barbarella," and Pygar's like, "Angels don't make love. An angel is love," and it's just like, no, you definitely boned earlier.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then she's like, "What do you think about when you make love to Barbarella?" And it's like,
yeah,
listen, this bitch just needs laid.
Yeah. Somebody needs to sling her some dong because she's desperate. She's trying to fuck Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda turned her down. I felt bad for the Great Tyrant, honestly. No wonder she was evil. Nobody would fuck her.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, if the incels and their white supremacist groups are anything to tell you, like, you gotta fuck people or they're gonna be... That is not the message. Don't go fucking white supremacists to try to make them not white supremacists.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's a whole bunch of fucking just wild shit going on. And there's this labyrinth before they get there. When they're flying with Pygar, she's shooting all these ships out of the air, and it's this scene was like 5 minutes too long, and I think it was 5 minutes total.
Yeah, right.
And when they're flying to the place and fighting all the ships, and it's just like close-ups of Barbarella pointing a gun, and then it's close-ups of these like little toy ships being burnt.
Yeah.
And they do that like 5 or 6 times, and each time, like, here's the funny thing: each time it's a different ship. It's clearly like a different ship, but like the effect itself is almost identical, even though they did it like with a different ship and they did it a different. It's just like you might as well just reuse the same shot because it looks almost identical.
Right.
Yeah, but
you know what else was funny about that? I thought
Mm-hmm.
just the fact in general that like, the first time you see a gun in it, like the guy hands her all these guns and stuff,
Yeah.
and like the one gun looks kind of like a modern day gun, and then they pull the trigger, and the dude that she shoots explodes.
Well, that's because he's a Leatherman. Or a blackguard, or
I
whatever
know.
they called them.
It was just so like wild.
I know it was. But at least she asked about it.
Well, true.
Because oh yeah, so this is like when they're still in the labyrinth, with Pygar, and Barbarella gets whipped. Of course she does. And while she's whipped, she's like all tied up and on the ground, because of course she is. And so Pygar picks up the gun, even though he's fucking blind, and he's pointing it, and so Barbarella's directing him on where to aim, and the guy that he's gonna shoot is literally just fucking standing there because he's a statue basically.
Right.
And then he gets shot and he blows up into like a bunch of like ceramic bits everywhere, and that's when Barbarella's like, "Oh man, there's no people inside," and he's like, "That's because they are Leathermen." It's like, oh,
right. Like that's true. He does. It's like, oh, good. That answers my question. Thank you.
Yeah, and like, so why is it every guy that talks to Barbarella is like such a douche? They're like, well, obviously it's this thing, even though you're from another planet and clearly shouldn't know any of this shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Everyone's such assholes. Like, she's like, oh, what's this? And they're like, it's a fucking Leatherman, you stupid bitch. It's like, whoa, calm down, Pygar.
Yeah, basically, like, goddamn, okay, got it.
They're like, oh, she's like, what's that building? And he's like, obviously, that's the Great Tyrant's Lair, you stupid bitch. I mean, and everyone else's defense, it was pretty obvious. Like, the big menacing building at the middle of the labyrinth. Well, what else is it going to be?
Right.
I mean, has she never read a book?
A dick about it, though.
Huh?
They didn't have to be such a dick about it.
No,
though.
they didn't. Poor Jane Fonda.
Yeah.
Poor Barbarella. Anyway.
Poor Barbarella.
So yeah, the whole movie is just like barely held together plot points, and so it takes like the stuff we complained about in Escape from New York, and it just magnifies it to like 25 times. We go into like all these different rooms that are all just there to be like, oh, here's this psychedelic idea I had while I was tripping. There's there's a room where they're trying to kill her with canaries.
Oh yeah, that was weird too.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
And then there's a suicide booth, which was kind of funny actually. I was just like, oh, that's.
Oh yeah.
And she accidentally runs in it to get Pygar away from an angry mob because all the people in the city of Sogo hate Pygar because he's an angel, and angels are the embodiment of good. Even though he said, I'm not an angel, I'm a Corinthal.
Yeah, right.
Fucking asshole Pygar.
Right?
Like,
really
everyone else refers to him as an angel for the rest of the movie, but see, this is what I'm talking about. Everyone's such dicks to Barbarella. Barbarella goes, are you an angel? He's like, no, I'm not a fucking angel. And then everyone else is like, angel, get over here. He's like, yo, what up? I'm an angel.
Yeah, right.
It's like just to Barbarella, he's like, call me by my ornithological name.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was so strange, wasn't it? Like, really.
Yeah. I think that the moral of the story is they were every man in this movie was trying to neg Jane Fonda into bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the angels are love.
Yeah. And an angel is love. So there's a whole bunch of stupid shit that happens in the city of Sogo. I don't want to go into all of it because none of it like matters very much, and all of it's just like them trying to be like, look how weird this place is. then she gets to meet the Great Tyrant. The Great Tyrant tries to bang her again, and she still turns the Great Tyrant down. So the Great Tyrant killed some dudes that were about to, like, I'm assuming kill her or rape her, one or the other, or both. And the Great Tyrant in disguise kills them, and then she asks her to bang, and she says, no, I gotta go find my angel. She runs off. That's when they get in the suicide booth, and then the Great Tyrant saves her from the suicide booth, and then she's like, I'm the Great Tyrant, and she's like, oh shit, you're the, whatchamacallit, the lady who saved me, and she's like, yeah, I am. Now, fuck me. And she's like, no, and she's like, well, I'm gonna torture your angel then. And, yeah, it's all convoluted. You get to see the little girls that were trying to get dolls to eat her in the Capitol now.
Oh yeah. And it not just that, but like it turns out that the one guy is like she's somebody's niece, right?
I
like
think they're the Great Tyrant's nieces.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, I think that's what they said. Because Concierge is so there's a guy named Concierge that's like showing up, and he's like the right-hand man of the Great Tyrant, and of course he's Duran Duran, but he's somehow aged 30 years, because he's supposed to be a young 25-year-old dude, but he's like in his 50s instead. But basically the best part of the whole thing is the best part of the whole Sogo part of the movie, in my opinion, is Duran Duran finds her after she escapes the canary cage, and then is trying to go find the Great Tyrant's bedchamber by just going around and asking people where her bedchamber is, basically. And she smokes some Essence of Man, and then Duran Duran finds her, and he's like, "Oh, I'm glad you didn't die in the canary cage, because now I'm going to torture you." And so it shows her in this big machine, and he's like, "I hope you're ready to be pleasured to death. Snoo, snoo, to death."
Yeah, that part was funny as shit.
Oh my god, that's like the second funniest part of the whole movie. It's so even though Barbarella had sex twice in one day for the first time in her entire life, apparently she's built a sexual endurance that is unheard of in all of the universe.
Yeah.
Because she ruins Duran Duran's machine because it's supposed to sex her to death, but the machine actually breaks down and catches on fire before it can kill her, because her ability to be pleasured is just unfathomable.
Her ability to bone.
Yeah. And oh my god, the shit he says in this part of the movie, I might have to just cut out a snippet of audio from the movie for this, because it is just so fucking off the walls bonker. Like he's literally like slut shaming her for not dying from his fuck you to death machine, and it's like just the most off the wall like nonsense I've ever heard. Like I'm like you're the one who's like trying to fucking dildo her to death, and she's the slut for not dying. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
I mean, these guys were everyone who produced this movie was obviously on like fucking acid.
Yeah, and obviously, I don't know. I don't want to say hated women, but like definitely were misogynistic towards women.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just it's a film of its time. Not that misogyny's okay in any sense, but
no, right.
But yeah, it was just it's a product of its generation, and that's just like how they thought. They probably thought they were very progressive, honestly, which is just how time works. Progressive stuff turns into not progressive stuff. But basically, what happens is Duran Duran finds out that she's got the key to the Great Tyrant's sleeping chamber, and so they go to the sleeping chamber, and he traps her inside of it, and he's like, now the Mathmas will eat you, because like the Great Tyrant sleeps by like communing with the Mathmas, which is this like big evil entity that makes everybody on the planet evil. And so
we should probably mention too. You never see what the Mathmas is. It's just like liquid evil, basically, is what it seems like.
Yeah, it's just like evil black liquid, because you kind of see it in the basement, or in the floor of the death chamber, or the suicide booth.
Right.
You see it in the floor of the suicide booth a little bit. But yeah, it's just like black evil juice. So they're doomed, right? They can't possibly get out of this chamber because it's unleavable. You can't leave this chamber without the invisible key. And then basically what happens is the Great Tyrant's like, well, the concierge forgot my secret ability, which is that I can control the Mathmas. And it's like, wait, what? Because literally like 2 minutes before that she said, if anyone's ever in this chamber, the Mathmas will eat me. And it's like...
Yeah, right.
It's like, but also my secret power. But of course, here's the thing. So both things were true. But she did bury the lead a little bit because she said... Because then basically what happens is she gets saved because Barbarella is so good.
Yeah, and pure.
Which I don't know where they got the good and pure. I honestly like don't know their definitions of morality. And that's because it's just like off the wall. Like she doesn't like. I mean, obviously, like she's better than some people in the movie, but she's not like good. She literally like just like derided poor people about boning the old school way, like earlier in the film. So obviously, she's a little bit of a classist. But anyway, so she's so pure that the Mathmas can't eat her, so it had to create a force field around her so that it didn't accidentally eat her and die.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, luckily the Great Tyrant was caught in the force field. They then are like floating on the surface of the Mathmas, or maybe they got thrown out of the Mathmas. I don't know what's going on, but the Mathmas is killing everybody. It's killing Duran Duran, because Duran Duran was killing everybody else with his positronic ray.
Yeah.
And then, basically they find Pygar still alive because the Mathmas couldn't eat him either because he's an angel. And then, the movie...
He was also too good and pure.
Yeah. And then the movie ends where, Pygar is flying away with Barbarella and the Great Tyrant, and Barbarella's like, why you saving this bitch? And he's like, 'cause I'm an angel. That's what I do. And...
He says, an angel doesn't remember.
Yeah.
Or some goofy shit.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Even though previously he couldn't fly because he was so depressed about them jabbing his eyes out, which he very much remembered, because he said, in Sogo, they destroyed my eyes.
Oh, yeah, he did say that.
But yeah, an angel doesn't remember, because this whole movie doesn't make any fucking sense.
No,
So here's one of my biggest issues with the fact that like their big evil weapon is called positronic. Like, why would you put pos? Which is like like the shoot. What's the beginning of a word thing called? Oh God. Shit.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. But, why would you start the word with, like, positive if it's, the bad, evil weapon? Like, why is it the Negatronic ray, or the Death ray, or the interdimensional ray, but it's like a positronic ray that transfers you to the positronic universe, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it even said like irreversibly transports you or something like that. So yeah, the whole movie doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's goofy.
It's goofy, and it's a lot of it's just to get Jane Fonda's tits out, seemingly, and And yeah,
probably, yeah.
Benjamin, why don't you go ahead and give us how many out of 10 outfits do you give this film?
You know, it is fun to watch just because of how, like, silly it is. So I'll give it a 7.
Wow, I'm giving it a 4.
Dang, that low, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly being a little bit nice giving it a 4. This was hard to finish for me. It was just
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just so I didn't care about anything that was happening in the film. Even
I will admit, the scenes flying with Pygar, those were definitely hard to watch for even me, too.
Oh yeah, that was awful. But let's say another, if we could think of another positive thing about the film,
Jane Fonda's tits.
I think the way Jane Fonda inflects, in the film sometimes, you know what I mean? Like the way she says words sometimes in the movie, it just sounds like she's just fucking done with the movie. Like, she's like, why did I agree to do this fucking sci-fi bullshit? Like, I know that, I feel like in my heart that is what Jane Fonda felt the filming of this entire fucking movie is like, why did I agree to do this sci-fi bullshit? And you can, and I feel like you can hear it in her voice during some of the scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of my positives is that Barbarella was as done with the movie as I was, if not more. So let's go ahead and get into
Tales of Dice and Pixels.
Yeah. Pew 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 pew.
Pew, pew.
I don't know what that was.
Benjamin, I did it.
Yes.
I did it.
Oh, shit.
I beat the Hades.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What weapon are you using?
I was using the, shoot, I think I was using the, I think I was using the shield.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I got this awesome duo power that let me recover 1 HP for every second as long as my after my life was expended, my extra life. I don't remember what it's called. And so basically, so I cheated a little bit because towards the end of the game, there's this boss that just shoots lasers at you, but it doesn't really move very much. It's not really a boss. It's like a room boss. You know how they have those like random room bosses, a room guardian, I think they call it, or something like that. Yeah. They're like obviously like a bot. They're like a mini boss, I guess would be the best way to describe them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Anyway, there's this mini boss that its only power is that it just shoots lasers in basically every direction, so you just have to like hide behind columns. I literally just like killed everything in the room except for it, and then I just hid behind a column until my health was full.
Oh yeah.
Because I think at that time I had like 350 health, so it took a really long time.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I had to keep moving because the Switch screen kept wanting to turn black.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so, but eventually I got to full health, and then I just jumped out and killed it. And then I was basically able to beat the game because I had like way more health than I've ever had, and then also I was able to regenerate health during the final boss battle too. So.
Nice.
The ending was very predictable.
Yeah.
Because, like, literally, as soon as the ending started, I heard one little sound, and I was like, "Oh, yep, that's what I thought was going to happen." And sure enough, or I said what I thought was going to happen. It was actually funny because Liz and I were in the car, so Liz was driving home, and I wasn't playing while I was driving. I'm good, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not beating the big boss battle at the end of Hades, and also driving at the same time. Good.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Yeah.
And so yeah, Liz was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Just watch." And so I turned up the volume, and I didn't say just watch. I just said I was just like, "Oh, this is what's going to happen." And then sure enough, by the end of the cutscene, that's what happened, and I was like, "Told you."
Told you. See you.
Yeah, but she wanted to watch. She wanted to listen to it because she reads a comic about the Greek gods. She wanted to see how this game's take went on that stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So was she pleased with it or disappointed?
She was like, "Is that it?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Yeah." It's worth it if you've been playing the game, and of course, if you know, like, if you once you see what I'm talking about happening, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, obviously that's how they do it." It'll.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying not to spoil it too much. But
appreciate it.
But it's I enjoyed it, and I thought it was worth it to the point that I probably, like, I've played a couple runs since then, like I think 2. But I've not made it very far because, well, actually, I have made it pretty far. I was in the final area, and I was just kind of like bullshitting though, like because I'm like, I already beat the game. It's not like it doesn't have the drive to beat it like it did before. So like, there's these creatures that give you like a thing that causes you to lose 1 health like every quarter of a second. It's like so fast that your health drains. And I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to stand here and take it and see if I can beat the room before I run out of health. And I didn't.
Oh.
Because as soon as, and mind you, I'd already done that like 3 or 4 times, so I did not have very much health to work with. I think it was on my, like, you know, how you get like, whenever you come back to life, you get like 30% of your health or something like that. So I think I was like at 30% health when I started the room, and
oh, gotcha.
And so yeah, it's not like I had a lot of health to work with, and I was just like, I'll just see what happens.
Right.
And that was the last run I tried to do, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've still been trying to finish 7 Deadly Sins and stuff like that, and I had to finish Barbarella.
Yeah. Barbarella! I mean, I'll tell you what, I still cannot get past Elysian.
Yeah. Well, it's because you haven't been getting darkness, man. You gotta focus on the darkness. So the best way to get darkness, honestly, is to use whatever weapon has the Blood Pact or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's good, too, because it gets you practice with the other weapons, because here's the thing that I learned in playing with the other weapons, because I didn't even win until I started using the other weapons anyway, because I was just using the spear every run. The game doesn't reward you for getting, like, perfect with a single weapon, because every weapon has different boons that are better for it. And it also has, like, you know, different what's the hammer stuff called? The hammers of what's his name?
Daedalus.
Yeah, the Daedalus hammers. Daedalus hammers. If you you unlock obviously every weapon has different Daedalus hammer unlocks, and they interact with different abilities differently and stuff like that. So, like, one of the cool things with the shield, which helped me a lot, was the shield has, like, this this ability that it does the Captain America thing, and it like auto tracks bad guys. And I got this added bonus from the Daedalus Hammer that made it every time the shield returned to me that I exploded damage. So it basically had an attack that almost never missed. And on top of that, I also had an AoE explosion.
Oh, dang.
And so I was like spamming that special ability a lot. But then also, when I do the shield strike, I would be having the... I think I had Poseidon on it. And so like Poseidon's ability knocks back, but you can also unlock extra abilities to knock back that it causes rupturing, which is a dot, and you can also get it to like when they bounce off walls, they take extra damage. And so you can really like, get these things like comboing with each other, and you can get some really good stuff going on, some area of control stuff. And yeah, and so like using just one weapon, it almost hinders you more than it helps you.
Oh yeah.
And that's what all that was about. So Benjamin, you ready to move on to the outro?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Next week, we will be watching the 1982 film Inseminoid. Now, I think Barbarella basically led us down a rabbit hole. We have a couple films that I'm pretty sure are like softcore sci-fi porn.
Yeah,
and
sure.
So I'm not sure what we're about to run into with this. There's only like, I think 2 of them in our current movie list. So here's the thing. If you guys give us more movies at imaginaryramblings@gmail.com or email, if you give us more movie options, then we don't have to maybe watch these potentially painful to watch films so much as we would otherwise. So that's our next film in the good, the bad, and the campy. Like I said, we'll also be coming out with our You, Me, and Mothership Z series as well over the next few weeks. So please check those out. They'll be coming out on the normal Imaginary Ramblings feed. And if you don't mind, you can tweet at us at PodcastIR. You can talk to us on Facebook and Instagram at Imaginary Ramblings. And then you can rate and review us, and that would be most beneficial. And then lastly, if you would like to get some free swag, buy some of our merch from TeePublic, take a picture of you in said merch with us tagged in it, and we will contact you and we'll send you a dice bowl that says Imaginary Ramblings, a bumper sticker that says Imaginary Ramblings, and a sticker that says Imaginary Ramblings. And with all of that said, all I have left to say is bye-bye.
Bye.
Alright. 1, 2, and 3.
War. War never changes.
War always changes. It gets worse. 100 years ago, humanity nearly wiped itself out. 50 years ago, an alien species known as the Churl show up, and we battle each other, nearly wiping out both species. A short respite is followed by a zealous group known as the Human Republic of Freedom that's decided that the Churl have got to go. They create a human-Churl hybrid known as G-Mods. This turns the tide of battle in their favor because the G-Mods are able to use Churl weaponry. The battle nearly wipes out all Churl on the planet, and the HRF turn against the G-Mods, killing them all. But that's not where the story ends. One last G-Mod, and the last of the Churl, now must help each other get to Mothership Z. Can they save Earth? And can they save the Churl at the same time? You, Me, and Mothership Z, starting
November 30th. Woohoo! Finally!
That was lovely.